What's up, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome to a new show, a new year, a new experience. Hey, what's going on? What's going on with everyone out there in support land? How are you doing? I hope you guys are doing very well. Welcome to a new show. Again, Happy New Year to all of you who are faithfully subscribed to this channel, and to those who will become a subscriber to the channel. I welcome you and want to say to you, Happy New Year. Okay, I'm excited to jump into a conversation, but first and foremost, we must make sure that everyone understands at the top of the year how these roles work. Meaning how to support the platform, right? So remember, the way to support this platform is always be a subscriber. While you're watching this channel right now, if it's your first time, if you've been here for a very long time, if you pop in and out, best thing you can do is subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell to make sure that you're getting all the notifications when this show goes live or content is uploaded to the platform. Also, don't hesitate. Click the like button. That button won't hurt you. It actually supports me and it lets me know that you are here and you are involved in one way. The other part of that is make sure that you comment. People think if they like the show but don't comment, I know that they were here. And then when I see you and I'm saying like, what happened? And you're like, I was there. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know that unless you say hello to me. So please drop in a comment, even if you're not talking very intense, just say hello so that I know you are here, right? It's a good way for me to get the algorithm going and massaging it and get those numbers growing. Now, don't be afraid of that share button. Click share. I know a lot of you are on Instagram, Facebook, you're on Twitter, Snapchat. You can click share and share all of this content to those platforms. That way, instead of you always asking people to join the show, you actually don't have to do so much work. You actually are showing your support by sharing the content. So share it. It doesn't hurt. I'm looking for bigger and greater things this year, and I'm hoping the same for you. And one of those things for me is to grow the platform. Grow the platform. So please get involved, support the best way you can. If you were supporting last year, I challenge you to do greater this year. Okay? Use the website www.voicesgathering.com or email me at diamond@voicesgathering.com. That is a way to get involved and see what this show is doing. We're not just here. I'm doing other things other than the podcast, but the podcast is part of my platform. So Go to the website, check it out. If it's something you don't want to share on this platform, something a little bit more personal that you don't want people to know who you are or what it's about, you can email me at diamond@voicesgathering.com. All right? Okay. So let's get into the show, which is really a quick show. We're going to be jumping straight into content, people. Picture time. We're going to be jumping right into content, right? We're not going to be waiting for people to comment, see if the numbers are growing. Listen, let's hopefully try our best to be on time. I don't want you to miss anything. And if you're late, please go back and watch the show in its entirety because it's something that you may benefit from. So without further ado, I want to talk about what the show topic is today and setting yourself free from your past. So we are in the second day of 2023, and I bet you any amount of money, there are many of you who are going to watch this show have brought with you a lot of baggage into the new year, right? Many people set up these things about New Year's resolutions. They set up these goals to achieve in the new year. And when they don't achieve them, they become disappointed, feel like they let themselves down, or other people that they told these New Year's resolutions to, like, oh, well, what's the sense? So I'm not going to do any of that. Well, let me tell you how I know that to be true, because I have been one of those people. I have set goals for myself where I wanted to be in my life, where I wanted to be in relationships or a career or whatever it is. And yet when I didn't achieve that, not because I wasn't working towards it, but when I didn't achieve it, I was disappointed. I was disappointed to the point that I'm like, oh, well, what's the sense? Why am I going to put forth effort to achieve a goal that seems to be a little bit bigger than I can? And I'm realizing that, or I have realized, and you know what, truth be told, you have to remind yourself of this. Everything does not go as planned. You need to know how to move with the move, right? So what that means is that as you plan a goal, a resolution for yourself, you have to understand that the way you plan it may not be the way it's going to be executed. And it doesn't mean that you're slacking on achieving it for some people. It just means that's just not the way you're going to reach your goal. So what is it that you need to do? Or what is it that you should try to do? Well, first and foremost, you need to let yourself be okay without holding yourself accountable for not being perfect. Let me say it this way. You are not perfect. There is no human being that is perfect. So, if you're not perfect, stop striving to be perfect and just be. Right? If you have something that you are trying to achieve in your life, and I know a lot of people in my personal life and in my professional life that are striving to make it to the next, I don't want to say level, but make it to the next step. Let's put it that way. And they are stagnated. They don't know how to move beyond the paralyzed phase of fear, of disappointment, or don't know what the outcome is going to be. So they don't push themselves. They just stay in that position of, well, I can't do this. This is not something I'm going to be able to achieve. People are telling me that this is not for me, or I can't do this. So, yep, I'm not going to put any forth effort to accomplishing what my goal is. I'm telling you, in 2023, if you are dragging the chain and ball into this year with you, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are doing yourself a disservice. And you're doing yourself a disservice because how are you going to achieve your goal if you won't give yourself permission to just go through the process of achieving your goal? There is no reason to drag the fear of not being perfect, the fear of afraid of being disappointed, the fear of the haters or naysayers into a new year with you, into a new moment with you, a new second, a new month, whatever it is. We should not be dragging our past failures or mistakes, disappointments into a new year. And I'm really willing to bet there's a lot of people really are saying Happy New Year, but still holding on to old stuff. Now, when I say that, I want to break that down about holding on to old stuff. Holding on to old stuff that paralyzes you is crazy. It makes no sense. But learning from something that hurt you or disappointed you or didn't work and you brought it into the new year, if you did that, please let it be a lesson to be learned. What is it that you need to learn from that before you put it down? I've said this on the show countless times about, I remember I was given an assignment and it was like for the lack of better words, it was something along the lines of poetry, but it really was a philosophical thought process that people needed to look beyond, right? So I was in class and I had wrote this thing called In the Valley. And oh, how did this really resonate with me? Because I remember reading the book by Ayanna Van Zandt, In the Valley, right? So I wrote this little thought-provoking poem about In the Valley. And I needed to change it up a little bit, so a whole lot, so that it was mine and to be more clear on what my thought was about why I was writing it. So I took a page from my own life and I remember how I felt. Striving not to be perfect, but not to make mistakes. And what is that? Trying to be perfect. See, your experience, and just work with me with this conversation, your experience in life, your environment will cultivate this thought that you can't make mistakes, that you have to be perfect. Now, people in your life may not say, well, you need to be perfect. Why aren't you doing that perfect? But when they're saying to you, well, then don't do that. You're making a mistake. You're not going to succeed at that. That's too great for you. You are not built for that. And I'm not saying all of those phrases were told to me, but I've experienced some of them and I know many people that have lived them. So when your environment starts to cultivate this experience, this thought process for you, it becomes, oh, I need to be perfect at what it is I'm trying to execute. Whatever it is, a healthy relationship, a financial growth, starting a family, going into your career, whatever it is, many people have heard this noise and was shaped and molded in this environment. Therefore, they become stuck and they don't venture beyond that. And I have been one of those people at some point in my life to some of those things. And I'm like, okay, well, college. I did not go to college right after high school. I was like, oh no, honey, I can't do this. I would be quick to tell people I am not a mathematician. Math is the enemy of me. It just really don't like me, but it needs to get to love me because I need to know that math to excel in other areas of my life, right? So I say that to say that when math was a thing that I was afraid of, I was like, well, to pass the exam and get into college, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to fail at the math part getting into school. And when you really don't know much, your mind could just play all kind of tricks on you. It can say, oh, you're not good enough. You can't achieve this. This is not for you. You're not good enough. People are going to say that, you failed at this. So you got to try it again and try it again and try it again and yada, yada, yada. And that becomes a carbon footprint in your life. It becomes that almost like writing your fears down in marble and now it's stuck It's never going anywhere. I don't care how much you wipe it. However, writing your fears down in sand and let it wash away when the tides come up, meaning when you get a new experience, you don't have to worry about carrying that into your space, your journey, your new year. So how is it that people learn to let go of the fear, the ball and chain, the thing that has you ankled and paralyzed? How is it that you learn how to cut that off and move in a space that is free, um, just peaceful, just peaceful? Do you understand that you came out of 2022 with all of its trials and tribulations, COVID, divorce, abuse, addiction, jobs taking advantage of you, underpaid, all of these different things you have dealt with in 2022. And now in the second day of the new year, 23, some of you have still held on to that. I'm sure, truth be told, many of us are holding on something that we need to learn how to let go. But being aware that you need to let it go is where you learn how to move forward and free yourself, how to break the chain that binds you. It's true. Let's be transparent. In 2022, I had so many thoughts about what it is that I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, who I wanted to be around, who I wanted to support me, who I wanted my friends to be, who I wanted to see and recognize me in my place of work. I wanted so much in 2022. And baby, just know a lot of that did not come to fruition. A lot of it did not. Oh, and I remember being disappointed and being disappointed is a natural feeling. It's natural to feel that. I'm not saying it's natural to hold on to it, but it's natural at some point in your life that you will feel disappointment. Because we live in an imperfect world. So how is it that you think that you will go through this space and not experience disappointment? You have to understand it's part of the life experience. But you are greater and bigger than your falling. I wanted to use the word failure, but we're not failures. So let's use the word mistakes, poor choices, wrong turns, whatever you would like to call it. You're greater than that. But you have to be okay with making the mistakes and learning from it. Some people, let me take the word some. I think the majority of people learn their mistakes within their family. Before the outside world will hurt you, the likelihood is that you will probably be hurt or have been hurt within your family system. You've hurt people, people have hurt you. Why? Because we are not perfect. And we're going through a life experience, right? Sometimes you have to make a decision on what do you do with that hurt. Some people would judge your transformation as an attitude, passive aggressive, unapproachable. And the truth be told, it may be none of that for you. It may be that is your shedding point. That is your letting yourself free, cutting yourself away from what is toxic and doesn't promote you. I'm there. I've experienced that in my personal life. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how much you believe you are doing the right thing, making good decisions, being supportive. People thoughts of what you are doing may be very different than what you believe you're doing. Their experience to your actions may be very different than what you was hoping it would be. And sometimes you have to just move beyond that. In your family, in your friends, some of us had to leave jobs that were just killing us. Killing us. I'm talking from the lowest paying jobs to Fortune 500 companies. People had, for their peace of mind, had to step away from the environment and actually start learning how to live again. I'm telling you, people will judge you making moves. And they judging you making that move, and you start to form your mind like, oh my gosh, they're going to be upset with me. Oh my gosh, they think I'm being shady. Oh my gosh, they're talking about me behind my back. That would drive you absolutely bonkers. You have to cut that ball off. Ball and chain and point. You have to cut it off. If they are not reaching out for you, if they're not recognizing you on your job, if those friends are not showing up without you always being the initiator of those relationships, it's probably likely that it's okay to say, you know what, this ankle is getting a little swollen, therefore I need to free myself of the ball and chain. And oftentimes people won't give you the key to free yourself because they don't care about you drowning in misery. You have to get you some hedge cutters, some shackle cutters or something, and just cut yourself loose from that. And people are going to judge you. Trust me, you are going to be judged, but do not be consumed by being judged. Don't consume yourself about being judged. That's just a setup for failure. It's a setup for failure, and always know people are not going to always agree with you. They're just not. Their journey and experience is different from yours. And I don't care how close you are, it's going to be different. You may be able to relate, but it's going to be different. Why is it going to be different? It's going to be different because many people won't understand that, you know what, I've been there. I know what that feels like. I know what it is to be hated on, judged, ridiculed, looked over. People can really just pay attention and relate to that. And you looking like, well, you don't understand. You don't know that they don't understand unless you're willing to have that conversation and see, well, wait a minute. Maybe this person actually understands what it is I'm going through. I'm telling you, a hungry mouth isn't fed unless it opens its mouth and start to eat. So if you want to eat of good substance, you got to be willing to put yourself out there and get the information you want. How do I remove myself from toxic relationships and people? How do I do that? How do I live a more transparent life and show up the better me? How do I do that? Because it is possible. You know, we live in a state of chaoticness, right? I've said this many times in the past. If you don't believe me, just surf social media. People are more drawn to drama and negativity than healthy peace. People are ready to strike matches where there's gasoline instead of getting sand and putting sand over the gasoline and making sure that nothing goes ablaze. You know, people, we just live in a space where it seems like there's a lot of people attracted to just negativity. Here's the thing, and I always like to reference myself. I like to think about my own experience. Right? I like to think about my own experience because then I'm talking from a place of knowing and not assuming. When I surf the internet, social media, When I look and see, for an example, people's numbers when they have YouTube channels, Instagram followers, and all those different sorts of platforms, and I'm like, wow, their numbers up in the thousands, quarter of a million, and I'm like, what it is that they're doing to get that attraction, and then I search their content. And baby, when you talk about negativity, gossip, drama, oh baby, it's through the roof. And when you're trying to live a transparent, authenticity lifestyle, when you're trying to have a voice that matters and speak of substance, you can't get no love, baby. It's just that's not what a lot of people, won't say all, a lot of people are not looking for that. And why aren't they looking for that? Because they are dragging the ball and chain of drama and toxicity into their life, into new spaces. Therefore, when they try to come into your space, or you open up a door for them to come into, they can't come into that because there's no way for them to flourish, because you're not meeting that negativity with negativity. Catch it. Hence the reason, going back to the part about removing yourself from friends, or so-called friends, families, acquaintances, those who are not supportive and helping you grow, you just remove yourself. When someone says to you, and you have to just accept it. You have to accept it. And I post a daily gem yesterday on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. I post what is called Daily Gems, GEM, for the day. And I said in that post, stop making yourself a priority in other people's life. Just stop it. When you are making yourself a priority to someone else, but they're not making you the priority, it is a setup for disaster. It's just a setup for disaster. That's what it is. It's not going to do nothing but cause more drama and headache. And I've seen it in family, and I've seen it in so-called friends, and I've seen it in so-called employees. I've just seen it across all kinds of relationships. When you try to be a priority to someone, but they don't feel you to be the priority, it's a setup for failure. It is. I think that's why a lot of people end up in divorce. A lot of people go to unfulfilling jobs. You're underpaid. It's just a setup for failure. It's no way that it's going to be a surviving relationship that's healthy and fulfilling, because you're not a priority to that person or people. You're just not. And when you learn to accept that you're not the priority, because they're not demonstrating that, when you learn to accept that, there is where you become free of the ball and chain and stop dragging things and people into spaces they don't want to be. Guilty. I've done it. I have done it. Just as of 2 days ago, in 2022, I was doing some of that. Even with my platform here, I was doing that. I was dragging and asking people, help, support me, believe in me. The show has a value. I was doing that. And to some degree, I understand that with the platform, I'm going to have to do that to market myself. But when you have to constantly, repeatedly say it to the same people over and over and over, it becomes redundant. And truth be told, I have seen people who have said that to multiple times look like, will she stop saying that? It's just my life experience. If I can't speak my true experience on my own platform, how am I helpful to the people that comes to my show and looking for a good, authentic conversation, one that is unapologetic and that is honest? I have to put myself out there. I have to talk about my failures as well as my success. I have to talk about my supporters and whether those that don't support me. So, it's not the whining or crying or pouting game when I talk about that. But if I know my platform is to help other people reach their full potential, then girl, you got to put yourself out there. You have to be transparent. I've learned through my career, not the career I'm in as far as being a counselor, but I've learned in my career, when I started in the career, believe it or not, as a model, modeling and working with entertainers from LL and Mary J. Blige and so many different people, Whitney Houston. And this is not bragging, right? But some people know that when we've had deep conversations, I'll talk about prior to becoming a counselor, when I was younger, I went into the field of modeling and being a dancer and working in the entertainment business. I've seen people say they are one thing and be something totally opposite. And I knew that you either had to get down with the get down, or you had to figure out how to be true in a place that's oftentimes kind of jacked up, for a lack of better words, just totally jacked up. I've learned that if you want to be honest and transparent, and when you show up, that you're not showing up for other people, but you're showing up for yourself. I.e., when I get dressed in the morning, baby, I get dressed for me. Now, many people would say, girl, who are you getting dressed for? Oh, you look absolutely beautiful. I'm getting dressed for me. When I do things at my home and I tell my significant other this, well, we can do, I'm like, I'm not decorating for anybody else. I'm decorating for me. You have to remember to put your own mask on first before you try to aid someone else by putting their mask on. That goes with saying that you have to speak your own truth and live your own authenticity before you tell people, well, you ain't real and you need to get it together. Wait. First, address you and let people live. Okay? Let people live and address you first. And in addressing you, when you realize addressing your own stuff, you are able to let people free and go about themselves, go about their business, and not worry about those people not feeling you, not loving on you, don't want to support you. I said a couple of months ago, because we took a break for the holiday, so that's why you didn't see me. But and if you go to the website, you'll know that the show is on a little break for the holiday season, and we're starting at the top of the year. So go to www.voicesgathering.com, get on that mailing list, please. That's how you know what's going on. But I remember saying last year, oddly, that someone close to me, oh my goodness, and it still bothers me, because this person I feel very close to, or felt very close to, right? And I don't think I've changed in feeling close to them, but I'm respecting, i.e., that gym for the day thing I told you, respect people's position. If you're not the priority, don't make yourself the priority. That's not what you are to them. You were making someone a priority, and they weren't making you a priority. And this person said to me, and I will say it again, because I was shocked, and I thought I was okay with it, because I had a conversation with that individual, like, okay, well, this is why I was responding a certain kind of way in this relationship or this space. When the person said, well, what do you want from me? They didn't ask me that directly. They were saying that they were talking to themselves and thinking out loud. I was like, what does she want from me? And I was like, whoa, that hit me kind of hard. And I'm like, well, wait. Although I don't ask for anything, so they don't mean literally like money or materialistic things or something. Or it was, I didn't want to be the one that's always initiating our relationship or communication. And this person, I still love them. They are sweet people. You just can't take that away from them. They are actually a sweet. Okay, so guys, just ignore this comment I see. I'll. Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay, I just reported them. And what we're going to do, sorry guys, you got to always watch your show. Um, okay, I apologize about that. Somebody, this is what happens when you are live and people try to whatever. Anyway, so getting back to the conversation, the individual very much when they said it to me, it threw me off. And in at the moment I was having a conversation to make sure that I didn't walk away from that conversation putting any kind of extra weight or demands on that. Yeah, it's a spammer, Patricia, and welcome, happy New Year to you. It's a spammer. People just it's spam, and I reported them and I deleted their message. So just ignore that. But getting back to what I was saying was at the moment I didn't want to walk away from the individual and because I know me, when I'm done, I have a position of being done. Now that doesn't mean that I can't go back, but I don't, that's why I don't like to be done. I don't want to be in my mind done with a person because when I'm done, I literally like to be done and just move on. I don't want to fake it with anyone. I don't want to force myself on anyone. And I don't want to be a bother to people. Right. So, before walking away from that conversation, I wanted to make sure there was some clarity in what we were talking about. And the clarity needed to be for me because I wanted to listen with intensity. I didn't want to assume anything. I didn't want to mix up words and take something out of context. I wanted to make sure what I was hearing is what I was hearing, not what I wanted to hear. And when the person said that to me, it stung some, and I had to we're good, I'm fine. But when I think about that person, I thought about that conversation. And in attempting to have a conversation beyond that point, I felt like I was going to be a bother to that person. Like they felt like I had expectations of them. And let me, if I forget about the thing about expectations, someone can drop it in the comments. I want to come back to that. So I wanted to make sure that I walked away from that conversation okay, and that they were okay, and they appeared to be okay. As time moved on, I wasn't okay as I thought I was. I just felt like if I tried to continue to be a part of this relationship, I'm going to put more added stress on that person, or they're going to feel like I demand certain things. And I didn't want to do that. So I gave them their space. I respected their position. I respected my position and their decision. And it's freeing. I'm always going to love this individual. I'm always, if ever I see them to be in need, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I remove myself from that person, so I'm not going to step up. No, not that. I'm not far removed from that relationship in that way, but I have removed myself from appearing to be a burden to that person. Now, expectation. I remembered myself. Expectations. There have been many times in my life where I had expectations and I was made to believe having expectations were wrong. You don't have expectations in relationships. So I started to consider the thought of don't have expectations in these relationships. And I was like, wait, the devil is a liar. Hold up. I absolutely have expectations in this relationship. In all the relationships I enter, and especially in 2023, I have even more expectations in my relationships with people. And I expect and respect that people have expectations with me. You have to make those expectations and You have to make sure that they're known. You can't assume that people know what your expectations are. I.e., if you're in a relationship, a dating relationship, well, what is your expectations? I know if I'm in a relationship, my expectations is that you're going to treat me with respect and dignity because that's how I'm treating myself. You're going to show up for me in a way that I need you to because I do that for myself, right? I'm not going to expect anything of you that I don't expect of myself. And I think many times people get let down because they have no expectations of themselves or they have not got to know what their expectations are. So what do? You end up dragging that ball and chain with you, slowing you down in your happiness, slowing you down in your fulfillment. That's what you're doing. When people look at you with two cross eyes because you have expectations, baby, give them some glasses so that they can see you straight. Give them glasses so they can see you straight. That this is not a mistake. This is an expectations and this is who I am. I am unapologetic about having expectations in this relationship. And if I am missing your expectations from me, please make sure they are clear so I can understand and do better, move forward, or say, you know what, your expectations are not for me, so I'm out. And hopefully doing that with the message of no love is lost. No love lost. But I have expectations. And I want you to let me know what yours are because I want to rise up to that. If we have a relationship, then there is a rising up to. There is. There is an expectations to rise up and meet that. I don't want to not meet those expectations. And truth be told, when people love you or respect you, they're not going to put expectations on you that are too hard for you to accomplish or achieve. They're just not going to do that. They're not. People that really, really care about you or love you, respect you, are not going to put an expectation on you that they know you cannot meet. They're not going to do that. If they are doing that, just know those individuals are not for you. And you might want to find a way to let yourself go and free from that. Cut off the ball and chain that binds you and weighs you down. You may not be able to do that right away, but if you learn how to start doing that more, you will finally get to a place of it becomes more easier. And don't bother yourself with what people are going to think. Do not bother yourself what people are going to think about your move. It's your move. Make it. Own it, make it, and be unapologetic about it. You don't have to be nasty about making your move. And that's what people get it twisted. Oh, well, you get, the twisting of the neck or, all up in your, baby. No. As my mom would have said, you can kill them with kindness. If they cuss you out and say, don't call my house no more. If they hang up on you, if they're at your job whispering behind your, whatever they're doing, whatever it is that they're doing, let them live. Don't saturate yourself with that shenanigans. It won't serve you any good. It won't. And that's the part about being able to kill people with kindness. That's it. Have no expectations for them, but rise up to your expectations of yourself. Okay, that is the show. That is the show. I am so glad that this is the topic to start off the new year. I am hoping that if you are here, you will like, share this show on all your platforms. I see that we got some thumbs up, so I want to thank everybody for the thumbs up. That was freaking great. Remember, if you want to get in contact with me, you very well can reach out to me at the website right here at the bottom of the screen, or the email. You can reach out to me that way. I answer all emails. I respond to the comments in the comment section. I am doing what I need to do to grow this channel, and your support is needed. So I hope you will do it with love and support. Remember, I am on all these platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you're right here at YouTube. So every Monday at 6 o'clock, we are here. If you do not see me here, that means you did not go to the website, or you're not following me on all platforms. So please do so. Please do so. This is how you reach out to me. And again, I thank each and every one of you for being dedicated supporters. And I hope that you will always show up. Dawn, I see you, my girl. Thank you so much for the love always. Patricia, thank you for being here. I believe Rob was here, but I think he stepped away. And to all of those who will come, thank you so much for the love and support. I'll see you next week, Monday. Watch out. We got a lot coming. Thank you, and much love. Mwah. Be well and be blessed. Bye.